Hey everybody, it's the Captain here, broadcasting live from Andertons, and welcome to our special Teenage Cancer Trust fundraising live stream. So we're here because over the last few weeks, Andertons has hosted a raffle where we're giving away 19 different guitars that over the years we've accumulated in this studio, and a pedal very kindly donated by That Pedal Show. And all the proceeds from that raffle are being donated to Teenage Cancer Trust. So before I unveil how much we've raised, I want to invite onto the live stream Paul McKenzie, who is the Director of Fundraising at Teenage Cancer Trust, to talk a little bit more about what they do. So Paul, it's really great to see you. Thanks for coming on.
Not at all. Thank you very much for inviting me, Lee.
No, not at all. So look, for the people who are watching, perhaps they're not familiar with TCT, and we certainly sold raffle tickets all around the world. So I know there'll be international people watching that might not be familiar with the charity. What does it do, and why is it more important than ever that we support it?
Well, so I'm still quite new at Teenage Cancer Trust, and I've learned so much since being here. And I always knew how difficult life was as a teenager and into their early 20s. You know, as a teenager, you've got relationships, friendships, gaining your own independence. You've got changes in your own physicality in the world around you. And then I learned that 7 young people every day hear the words that you've got cancer. And I've learned so much about how that turns young people's lives upside down. And Teenage Cancer Trust exists to help young people between the age of 13 and 24 who find out that they have cancer. So before Teenage Cancer Trust was established, young people would either have found themselves placed with much younger children than them or much older adults. So there was never a place that they could meet other young people who were going through the same experiences as them. So we have transformed that in the last 30 years. So there's now 28 specialist hospital wards across the country where young people can come together to be treated alongside each other. And it's hugely important in those units. But what's more important is that we also put incredible nurses into those units who are experts in looking after those young people and their complex needs, but also not only medical advice, but they give them time. They give young people the chance to talk about their worries, their concerns, and recognize that they are a teenager. They do face different issues, and give them that time to express that. And we also have what we call youth support coordinators who are there to help the family and to help those young people to get through. And also a lot of their role is about bringing young people together. You know, peer support through this time is hugely important. So that's what Teenage Cancer Trust does. But obviously the last year and a half has been a very challenging one for Teenage Cancer Trust.
Well, for sure. Well, look, over the last, I mean, TCT has quite a rich musical heritage and quite a connection with the music industry. And that's certainly what intrigued me to try and find out a little bit more about it. And over the last 2 or 3 years, Andertons has run a few events to raise a bit of money, the odd auction here. And but last year was the first time I actually came to see a TCT unit at the Royal Marsden. And I took some guitars up and went up to try and help fix a few old musical instruments that weren't working. And when you're there and you see, I suppose it just brings it home what young people with cancer have to deal with. And as you rightly said in your bit, I think teenagers have so much other stuff going on in their lives. It really moved me. And had it not been for COVID, I think we'd have probably got round to doing something like this raffle sooner. But I knew at that point it was much more important that we did something bigger. But I do think for everybody watching here, there's a short video about to come on now from a young musician called Ruby, who was diagnosed with cancer last year and wants to talk about the support that she's had through Teenage Cancer Trust. And it's a pretty powerful video. It's not very long, but have a watch of this and we'll see you back in a minute.
Hi, I'm Ruby. I'm 20 years old and I've recently been diagnosed with acute leukemia. Last month I lived independently. I was studying at university. I was a musician, a songwriter. I had housemates and friends and music.
Music is something that I relate to being happy and being able to like express myself. So I didn't feel happy at that time. I didn't want to pick up the guitar. And then when I had surgery, I wasn't even able to get up and go to the toilet myself. So I wasn't going to be picking up a guitar and singing and stuff like that. Luckily in lockdown, my shoulder had healed. So I was able to pick up my guitar and start writing. I'm really happy that I'm back actually playing it and writing again. I wanted to do a song about treatment, everything that comes with being diagnosed and your relationships with people. It's almost like the trauma doesn't go once you finish intensive or once you've finished all your treatment, it's still there. What I have called it the game is that that is just how it is.
Friends that I've known for years haven't been in contact for a while, and they're still but it's all part of the game I hate to play, but I play it anyway.
A lot of the time when you're in hospital, it's very easy to isolate yourself a lot, so you don't want to speak to anyone. And the mental side of it is a big aspect. Lois is my support coordinator. Without her, I wouldn't have met some of the friends that I have. When my friend relapsed, it was the third time for him. And when he passed, it was absolutely devastating. Going to Lois and being able to speak to her about it, to someone who related so much to the situation, and for her to explain it to me and to take some of the worries off my mind was a massive help. With cancer, death is a part of that. Being able to speak to someone who completely understands it was really, really helpful.
Yeah, it's all part of the game I hate to play, but I play it anyway.
Okay. I mean, deep breath, stuff like that is pretty moving. And I think, Paul, when you said before, you know, Ruby's not the only one going through this. Is 7 people a day, 7 teenagers a day hear those words that, you know, no one wants to hear. But I'm told that, you know, Ruby's still continuing to receive treatment, but she's doing pretty well. And I like that song a lot. And it would mean a lot if maybe, you know, one day Ruby can come down to the studio and we could do a rendition of that song here or something like that. But so hopefully all you guys now who bought a ticket and who've tuned in can see what your money is going to go towards. So apologies for keeping you in suspense, Paul. I have a big comedy check here that I'm raising up now with drum roll, please.
Whoa!
So I hope you can all see that. But yes, through the unbelievable generosity of all the amazing people who watch our YouTube channel and decided to buy a ticket, we have raised for Teenage Cancer Trust the grand total of £117,886. If you're tuning in from Europe or America and you're going, what does that even mean? It's over $150,000. It's way more than we've ever raised for charity before. It's freaked me out. So, Paul, please tell us, what difference will that money make to the charity?
I mean, that's an incredible amount. To give you an idea, and you saw it a bit in that video there, you know, in the last year, the pandemic has hit us very hard. You know, we raised £4.5 million less last year, and our whole focus was about putting on frontline, ensuring that we could put on frontline services. And You know, imagine a young person being told in a, you know, a normal world that they had cancer. Now imagine a young person that gets told today that they have cancer. Imagine the complexity that comes with. I think this money means that we can adapt. We can ensure that we're putting in virtual services where we can no longer do face-to-face. We built a whole new social platform to help young people connect when they can no longer connect in person. And that's what this money means. This means that we can be flexible in an environment that is throwing us from side to side continuously to make sure that young people have that stability when they most need it. And that money is the money that helps us keep every nurse in the unit, every youth support coordinator picking up the phone or getting on a Zoom call and talking to a young person when they need it most. It's transformational. And to anyone who gave anything towards this raffle, it's thank you, because it's not easy in this time to give. And Andertons have done that, but every person on this call has done that, and it's incredible. So thank you so much. It's amazing.
Oh, that's great. And I want to talk about, you know, we talk about the power of music a lot on our YouTube channel. It gets people through all kinds of difficult times. But can you just tell us a little bit about the TCT sort of musical heritage? You know, what impact does the charity see of music having on young people?
I mean, music is everything to us as a charity. Our annual shows at the Royal Albert Hall feature top names across the industry, giving us up their time. You know, Roger Daltrey is our patron, to Ed Sheeran, to Nile Rodgers. You know, music percolates through us, so that, you know, it's such a huge fundraiser and something that really holds the charity up, and we've built on for many years. And actually, you know, the last two shows have been cancelled. You know, that's £2 million that we haven't been able to raise. But music is used in activities in our units. It can be very beneficial and a therapeutic and a distraction capacity during treatment. We've got jukeboxes in all our units, and our youth support coordinators often use music workshops and activities to help young people to express themselves. And a story that might be quite interesting. So in Brighton, there's a music group that come into the hospital, and actually you have kindly donated instruments into that unit in Brighton. And this music group comes in with ukuleles and guitars, and it makes a massive difference. And our nurse there, Sam, told us about a musician he was supporting. And it's a great example of the time that our teams can spend getting to know each young person as an individual, but also what music does. So this young person who was having treatment had to have a cannula in the back of their hand. And they were really distressed because they wanted to play guitar. It was the only way they could get, you know, the only way that they felt they could get through this. And a cannula in the back of the hand meant that they wouldn't be able to do that. So Sam was able to intervene, was able to spend time getting it right for the young person, so they could have a special pick line, which meant it went into their arm. And that meant that that young person could then play guitar. And it seems small, but in this big machine that is medicine, you know, they probably would have just gone in the back of the hand. That young person wouldn't have been able to play guitar. With our intervention and those small interventions at the right time means the young person plays music. And I'm sure everyone in this call knows, if you love music, how much that can transform and change your view on life. And that meant the young person could express themselves at a time where maybe expressing themselves would be really hard. And that is what music is every day to Teenage Cancer Trust.
It's so inspiring. And you know, you and the team of nurses and experts within Teenage Cancer Trust, you know, you do such an amazing job. It's so, you know, it's emotionally draining and challenging, I think, to just sit on a call for 15 minutes and do this. And you guys are doing it 24/7, 365 days a year. You know, you're amazing people. And I don't know what, I really don't know what it would be like as a teenager to deal with cancer without the support that you give. So we're kind of reaching the end now, and I just want to say a massive thank you to all of the suppliers who over the years have donated guitars to Andertons that we were able to give away. A massive thank you to the team at Andertons who put the raffle together, and to all the people who helped promote it. And of course, most importantly, a massive thank you to everybody who bought a ticket, and in some instances bought dozens of tickets. So thank you so much. I want to make it, a personal objective of mine to make sure that all 28 TCT units across the country feel like they've got enough music kit there to keep people happy and inspired and able to participate in music somehow. So Paul, hopefully we can stay in touch, because I'd love to feel like we could do that. But yeah, just anything you want to add before we log off?
Well, I think the first thing is to say thank you to you, Lee, and your team and everyone at Andertons. That money is transformational, and the fact that you have enabled people to bail those raffle tickets and committed such time and dedication to supporting us, not just this year, but in the previous years. And, you've been helping us get partners to put synthesizers in every unit in the country. That is transformational. I think a big thank you goes to you. And also a big thank you to everyone on the call and who sees this. It's, as I've said, this is not an easy time to look away from yourself. And so many people who have involved this raffle have looked up and decided they wanted to do something for someone else. And I can promise you that money is helping someone else get through one of the hardest times in their lives. And I just want to say a really big thank you to everyone.
Thanks, man. And well done for picking me up on not mentioning the synthesizers thing. So that, as another separate thank you, coincidentally timed, that was Beringer who asked, I think they said, would Andertons like to nominate a charity that they gave something like 100 synths away to or something? So yes, there'll be some serious synth style music coming out of the TCT awards, over the next few months. So thank you, Beringer. And look, thank you everybody who's tuned in to watch. There's a link on the screen for teenagecancertrust.org where you can go and donate as well if you want to. And I get it. If you live outside the UK, by all means, please go and find another charity in your country that perhaps does something similar to Teenage Cancer Trust. I'm sure there's other organizations around the world doing a similarly brilliant job, and they all need your help. So that's it, I think. Paul, thank you so much for joining us. Have a great day, and I look forward to when I see you next time. And yes, thank you everybody for watching, and we're signing out.